A little wobbly again today. But laughing at myself because I have not found a better way to go live on both Instagram and Facebook without looking at two different cameras. So if anyone has any brilliant ideas for me, I would love to hear how you do that without looking up and down. Anyway, so if you see me doing that today, that's what's happening. All right, so I actually just want to dive in. Last week I popped on here last Wednesday and we talked about the power of focus. We talked about what that means and what happens when we're able to really focus our attention and align our energy in the direction of what we're wanting and the direction that we're wanting to go. So today I wanted to talk about an invitation that I have, really something I'm going to actually talk about later, but it's about up-leveling or upgrading what I've been calling your inner thrive game. And I don't know what else to call it. For me, that's really what it is. There is an inner game that we're playing all the time, and it's an inner game that we're thriving at, or maybe not so much. And what I want to talk about today is, what does that mean and what does that look like to up our inner thrive game? As we all know, that when we up that inner thrive game, we up that internal dialogue, we up the power of our belief, we up our ability to navigate through challenging situations, it positively impacts everything. It positively impacts everything. So what's going on inside will eventually manifest, will eventually be the thing that we're experiencing around us. And sometimes that's immediate. What's going on inside of you, and I'm going to share an example of this later of something that happened to me. But something had happened in the moment, and based on where you are internally, you might have a reaction because it triggers you. It sort of pushes one of those buttons, one of those tender spots within yourself. So when we up our inner thrive game, we actually dissolve that button. We make it so that when that same exact thing happens, we don't have that kind of knee-jerk reaction. We're able to sit back and take a deeper look at what that might mean for our own growth and how it might actually be an opportunity. And again, I'm going to share a story with you. So just stay tuned to the end. I do have an invitation for you if upping your inner thrive game is something that you're looking for. I've been talking to a lot of clients, a lot of friends, women and men who I really, really respect. And what I'm hearing a lot is they're ready to up level, they're ready to upgrade. And a lot of times when we get to that point, everything we've done leading up to where we are was great and it was powerful and it worked in terms of our transformation. But we kind of get to this place where it's not working the same way it used to, and we need something else. We need something more. And so that's what I want to talk about, because then we get to this place of like, well, what is the next thing? What is the next tool? What's the next, strategy? And I'm here to tell you, it's more than likely not necessarily going to be strategy, but it's more of an upgrade in the way that you're focusing, an upgrade in your mindset, an upgrade in the way that you're recalibrating or organizing your energy. So I feel like the best way to talk about something is to share a story, because we can all relate with stories. So I'm going to share two very quick stories with you that really gives you an example of what I mean when I talk about upping that inner thrive game. And so the first story is, a few weeks back, I had a really bad injury, and I talked a little bit about it in my Instagram stories. But ironically, I had been getting pursued by clients to help them heal from sciatica. And again, if you're just joining and you're seeing me look up and down, it's because Instagram is here and Facebook is here. So again, if you have any better ideas as to how to do this, please let me know. But that's why I'm looking up and down. Okay, so I got pursued by clients and they wanted me to help them heal from sciatica. If you know anything about sciatica, it's extremely painful and it can take a really long time to get the impingement out so that the pain stops. And so I started diving in and doing a lot of research about this and started working with clients to help them heal their sciatica. And then a few weeks later, I got sciatica. So I had this intense nerve impingement from my hip bone all the way down to my foot. And that is pain like I have never experienced pain before. It's not a joint thing, it's not a muscle thing, it's a nerve thing. And if anyone's ever had that, you know it's quite different, it's very intense. Long story short, so the first thing that happens is you experience a level of disempowerment. You experience the what is. You experience the condition of the thing that's happening, the thing at hand. And for me, that was pain, that was injury, and it was also, I was hearing all the stories of the clients that had shared their horrible stories about their journey with sciatica, how long they'd had it, the bulging thises and the slipped discs and all the things. And so initially you feel like, oh crap. And you can kind of get going with that momentum if you're not careful. And that's what I talked about last week, how it's so important to shift our focus. So the first thing that happens is usually disempowerment, right? There's a condition, it's like, oh crap, now what? And then the second thing is, and that's just your experience, right? And the second thing is really where strength comes in. The second thing is the opportunity. So what happens then is we get the opportunity to be willing to have a different experience, to be willing to have a better experience. And sometimes people choose that and sometimes they don't. And I don't know why some people choose one and some people choose the other, but I know for me, personally, I always want to feel as good as I possibly can. So I am simply unwilling to settle for a physical state or a mental state that feels painful. I'm just not willing to do it. So the step 2 here is finding your strength in acknowledging that you have a choice. And for me, with the sciatica, I said, you know what? I decree and declare that I will heal this. I will absolutely heal this. What do I need to do? And it was all really started coming to me when I go through an injury or I go through an illness. I recognize that it's a time to be with my body. It's a time to be in meditation. It's a time to be in prayer. It's a time to reflect. And what I saw was that I was not in alignment with well-being. I was not energetically lined up with well-being. My thoughts were not energetically lined up with well-being. And the opportunity was to trust the intelligence of my body more, to trust my practice more, to put into practice the things that I work with clients about, and to remember how powerful they are, to see that they actually really do work. And so that's exactly what I did. And that's the third step is the hope piece. And it's the practice piece, because when we practice, and sometimes these changes happen slowly, sometimes they happen quickly, but they definitely do happen if you stick with it. And eventually practicing becomes progress, and then that becomes healing, and it becomes empowerment, and that becomes your new normal. And so that's really what happened to me. Is I had the injury, the oh crap moment, that this is really painful, oh my gosh, got hijacked a little bit by fear and all the stories that my clients had told me about their horrible situations. And I said, okay, number 2, like here's my chance. I can go with that, and I can collapse into that, or I can take a moment and I can say, what else is possible here? What else is possible? What do I want to decree and declare? Where do I need to strengthen the power of my belief so that it's working in my favor? So we all have the power of belief going on, but it's like, is it working in your favor or is it working against you? I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I said, I am going to exercise the power of my belief, and I decree and declare that I will line up with well-being, and I will lean into the intelligence of my body, and I will heal this. I will. And then I started to practice, which meant all the things that I know to do. And sometimes that's aligning your thinking, and it's aligning your energy through meditation. And for me, it was slowing down. It was meditating more. It was tuning into my body. It was getting onto my foam rollers and getting onto my balls and working through my fascia. So the myofascial release practice. I was getting an adjustment. And I healed that injury in a week. Which turned into empowerment, because I know that our bodies are so intelligent. And if we believe that and we lean into that, it's amazing what happens. But we get a choice and we get an opportunity to make that decision. So that's just one little example of what I wanted to share as far as upping our inner thrive game. And that injury was an invitation to me to up my inner thrive game, because I wasn't in this space initially. When you kind of think you're in one place and then the thing happens and then you see where you really are. And I was not really in alignment with well-being at the time. Okay, so the second thing that happened, and this is very different but similar in terms of the process that I used to turn it around, was there was a situation this week actually that I found myself in where I was feeling extremely undervalued. I mean, extremely undervalued. And a couple of things, I already knew that I was feeling a little more sensitive. I'm a female. That's time of my cycle. So things were already feeling we just came off of a big full moon. So I knew that those things were definitely playing a role, but I also know that this thing around value and feeling valued has always been a bit of a tender spot for me. What was shocking about this particular situation and this particular circumstance is that I have done a ton of work around feeling valued, a ton of work around self-love, and around really showing up in my life from a place of valuing myself and a place of honoring myself and really loving myself. Because let's face it, if you're not coming from that place, there are just certain things you're not going to do for yourself. And when you value yourself and you come from that place, and when you truly honor and love and respect yourself and you come from that place, you make different choices. You do things differently. So it was really shocking to me to yet again find myself in a situation where I felt extremely undervalued. And again, I want to just say to those of you who have just joined, I am looking up at Instagram and down at Facebook. So that's why I'm doing that. And I'm just reaching out for anyone who has a better way to film on both platforms without looking up and down, up and down. Anyway, so let me continue here. So this happened, right? It was the step one thing that happened, where it was just the what is. There was a circumstance and a situation that happened, and I felt disempowered. That's what happened. That was the truth. Now, I could have kept running with that, which sometimes I run with it a little longer than I really want to, or that is necessary. But what I've learned over the years, because I want to feel good, because I care about how I feel, is that if I want to continue moving in the direction that I want to go, I can't give my power away to that. And so what I did was, okay, step 2 is strength. Step 2 is the willingness to decree and declare what you really want. Step 2 is exercising the power of belief so that it's working in your favor. And so I said, okay, I need to take a little bit of a step back here, because I don't feel valued, and I'm right now projecting that on this person, place, or thing, right? The blame, it's their fault, your fault. If you behave differently, if this thing were different, I could feel valued, which is totally not how it works. But that's where you sometimes go initially. But this step 2, where the strength comes in, is where you say, you know what, there's an opportunity here for me. There's an opportunity here for me to see something about this. And I know that I'm up-leveling right now, and I know that I'm upgrading right now, and I know that I'm asking, what are my blind spots? And so what I saw was, yeah, there is still a part of myself, a part of me that isn't valuing myself fiercely. Yes, I'm valuing myself, but what does it look like to fiercely value yourself? What does it look like to radically value yourself, right? And if you're fiercely and radically valuing yourself, what is different? How do you show up? How does that shift and change the decisions you make? And how does that shift and change those moments where maybe you normally back down? And I know for me, just coming forward with my message requires a lot of valuing myself, because it's really easy to sit there and say, I really don't have anything to say, and what's the point of sharing this? But someone who fiercely, radically values themselves will get up there and put themselves in the ring. So that's step 2. And then step 3 is the empowerment piece. That's the place where you find hope. That's the moment where things shift, where you see that the power of your focus and the power of your belief, when it's all working in your favor and moving you in the direction that you want to go, results in a breakthrough. It results in healing. It results in progress. It results in even that moment where you deeply and completely appreciate the thing that just moments ago or days ago or weeks ago totally made you feel disempowered. And now you go, wow, that was an amazing teacher for me. So that was what happened. I got to see, like, this is exactly what I've been asking for. I want to deeply and completely, fiercely, radically value myself and show up from that place. So thank you to this situation that initially made me feel extremely disempowered. So what does any of this have to do, right, with my invitation to up your inner thrive game? And mostly those are just examples that of what it really takes, right? When we're navigating our lives and we're moving in the direction that we want to go. And last week I shared on abhyasa, which is steady effort in the direction that you're wanting to go. And what does that really mean? And things like, mindset, living with the kind of high vibe that you want to live with. And that can sound really cliche. So, high vibe really just means living in that energetic state, living in that place where you're feeling possibility, you're feeling a sense of ease, you're feeling a sense of flow, even in the midst of chaos, even in the middle of a transition, even when you've got an illness going on or an injury or you're experiencing a loss. That's what I'm talking about, is that we're able to navigate that through the way that we're focusing and the way we're exercising the power of our belief. And we're therefore manifesting more ease, we're manifesting more joy, we're manifesting more peace, we're manifesting more strength, more resilience. But those things take practice. They take practice. I practice at this stuff every single day. My students practice, my clients practice. And one thing I've seen is that creating these disciplines for ourselves, it's not easy. I mean, it can be easy. Eventually it becomes your new normal. Eventually it becomes something automatic and something you look forward to doing. And I have to say that's where I'm at now. But when it comes to up-leveling, upgrading, it requires a different level of discipline. It requires a steady effort, a consistent effort, and a showing up from that upgraded place before you feel upgraded. And what I found is that when you're doing that with a group of people who are doing that also, and they're doing that with you, and they're there as a constant reminder, they're there to constantly reflect back to you what you can't see, they're there to constantly reflect back to you the blind spots that you have, it's really powerful. It's really powerful. And when you're in this showing up on a regular basis with other people who are on the same page with you, it's fun. It's fun to do the work. And I run across a lot of people who just say, I just don't want to do that kind of work. I don't want to dig in that deep, and I don't want to look at those things. And it's like, but do you care about how you feel? Do you care about how you feel? And do you have things in your life that you just know deep down that they could be easier, they could feel better, there's a better way. And all it takes is a little bit of practice, a little pivot in the focus, a little pivot in the mindset, a little pivot in the actions that you're taking every day. And when you've got a tribe and a community of people who are right there with you, it makes it so much easier, so much more fun, and the results happen faster. They happen faster. So that's what I'm talking about, and I am actually inviting people right now, women, to a group that I'm running. It's 6 months long. It's called Revive. It's, I think, the 5th or 6th women's group that I've run that is like this one. And it's got a lot going on with it, and I won't get into all the details here about it, but we meet regularly on Zoom, so we're seeing each other face to face. The women who are local, I always organize a time for us to be together locally, and we have lots of different forums and ways that we are communicating, either just you and I one-on-one or as a group, or even the women in the group communicating with one another. And we've all got a vision, we've all got a focus, we've all got something that we're working towards. And then we have the things that are just coming up day to day, because we all know that happens too. You're on this trajectory, you're on this path, you're heading in this direction, and you're moving towards something, and then life is happening, and life is happening, and life is happening. And how do we navigate that? How do we navigate that? How do we continue, even when there's loss, and there's sickness, and there's injury, and there's all the things that happen as a human? How do we stay in that place where we are using the power of our belief in our own favor? And I see it all the time, using the power of belief against ourselves. And so what I have to say to that is it takes practice. It takes practice. And so Revive, which is the group that I'm running, I like to think of this as, it looks like Instagram just got paused for a second. Okay, I like to think of it as a intensive in a way. And I get a lot of times, 6 months, it feels so long. And I promise you, every time I've done these groups, I always get requests from the women, can we go longer? This went by so fast. So just know that if that feels like a long time for you, it really does fly by, because when you're having fun and you're getting results and life is getting better and better and better, and you're feeling better and better and better, and you're cultivating and creating these deep, rich, nourishing relationships that recharge you and elevate you and support you, it really is hard to put into words, the value of that. So I'm going to actually post down below in the comments just the link if you want to check that out and read more about it. And there's also a link within that link. So when you go read about Revive, if you're wanting to set a call up with me just to talk more about it, I completely understand. If I were in your shoes, I would set up a call too and just want to talk to the facilitator and want to get to know, him or her. If you're a male and you're seeing this or you're watching this, please don't think that I'm excluding you. I'm not all about just only working with women. I love working with women, and in this way, I feel that it's important for the safety and sort of that sacred container to be all women. But I love working with men too. So if you are ready to up your inner Thrive game, I'll also put a link to my calendar below, and you can book a call to talk to me further about some one-on-one coaching. So I would love to hear, like, where are you at? What are you hearing me say? What are the takeaways? What is the area of your life where you're wanting to really upgrade or up-level your inner Thrive game? And I say inner Thrive game because it's an inside job, right? It really is. It's an inside job. I show up to the gym every day. I go do my yoga practice every day. I do my meditation every day. I do my journaling every day. Not because I necessarily want to do those things, but I want to feel good. I want my thoughts to be on a healthy path. I want to feel connected to my body, to spirit, to God, to source, to the universe. I want to pause when agitated, I want to take radical responsibility in my life and not be one of those people that just kind of vomits negativity or reacts to people because I get triggered in the moment. I want to be able to take a step back and feel what's happening in my body and find the wisdom and the intelligence and the opportunity, right, that's there. So I would love to hear from you guys. I'm not sure who's still here, but definitely give a heart or say hello if you're here, if you're listening during, if you're listening after, and just let me know. What did you hear me say today? What were some takeaways for you? Where are you up-leveling right now in your life? What are you looking to upgrade right now? And I would also love to know, do you have a daily practice that you just think is the bomb and you want to share it because you just feel it's really, really powerful? I would love to hear that too. I'm always looking for ways to up-level and upgrade my daily practice. Wow. All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your presence, your attention here, and just sending you all so much love. Like I said, I'll put the links below to Revive, and then also a link below if you would like to book a call with me to talk more about one-on-one coaching, or to talk to me even about personal training if you're here local, or working with me with yoga, meditation, or if you want to take some time and talk more about Revive. I would love, love, love to hear from you. All right, friends, that's all for now. I will see you soon. Lots of love.